Welcome back. Just an overview of skeletal system and muscular system. So skeleton will give you a framework for the body where the different other parts of the body are being attached. It will give you a surface where the muscles will go and get attached through the formation of a tendon. So for example, if you see any muscles for that matter, if you see this, so there is some bulk of flexor muscles, which the bulk of the muscles will be very slippery for the bone to get attached. So what the modification muscles does is, muscles will form something like tendon. So where you will see a hard surface here. So this is tendon. So tendon will go and get attached to the base of that particular bone. So wherever the tendon is there, the movement will be much better. So what I mean to say is, when the skeletal system will give you a framework, it will protect the internal organs from injuries. It will give you a space where there is a storage of fat in the form of yellow bone marrow, and there is a red blood cell production with the red bone marrow, and there is a deposition of minerals of the body. All the components of when you study in detail, all the components of the bone as a calcium and all this other potassium minerals, other minerals, you will study that how it is stored, how it is utilized in the form of calcium metabolism in the physiological part, like the skeleton and muscles. So together, so musculoskeletal system for the yoga teacher is very primal, very vital. So more than 60% of knowledge of muscles and the skeleton is vital for yoga teacher. Other systems needed but may not be so much. If you read and study well, other systems well and good, but majority is skeletal system and the musculoskeletal system, you must and should study in detail. For you to influence or to cause a difference in your teaching style, you must know the musculoskeletal system much better. So in a musculoskeletal system, what I request you to say is, if you are able to name certain group of bones, or if you are able to name certain group of muscles at a different area, so in a musculoskeletal system, that would be more than enough. So no need for you to go for origin of muscles, insertion of muscles, what are the blood supply of the muscles, no need, may not be needed. If you are able to name certain bones, if you are able to name certain muscles of the body, it is enough. With that knowledge of naming the bones, naming the muscles, if you are able to understand the different exercise modules, isometric, isotonic exercises, gravity, anti-gravity exercises, holding certain asanas is isometric exercise for certain groups, isotonic for other groups. So what are the different aspects of movement where the muscles are contracting in one particular asana, where muscles are relaxed in one particular asana, is more needed for you as a part of a biomechanics or as a part of understanding of different muscle groups working in different direction. So when we study, for example, if I say in the forearm, ulna and radius, humerus, collarbone, clavicle, sternum, rib cage, if you are able to name like this, it is more than enough. Pause. And the sliding movement of the neck, rotations of the neck and the vertebral body, there is a gliding movement of vertebral body, hip bones, so ball and socket joint of a hip bone, ball and socket joint of your humerus, and with a shoulder joint. So strongest bone of your body, that is the thigh muscles, tibia, fibula. If you are able to name certain group of muscles, it is more than enough for you, may not need much more details. Naming the bones, knowing which are the muscles, what are the direction of flexion or contraction or different actions around the muscles, and what are the range of movements, what are the isometric and isotonic exercises. These particular components, if you are aware of it, is more than enough for you to move on with your teachings of yoga. If you have a proper understanding of this basic musculoskeletal system, what best you can do is, you teach with awareness, that's first thing, and you do not harm the person who is in front of you. You might be good with your body because you are practicing for so long, you might be doing good in asanas, you might be very flexible. But when you are teaching the client, you do not know what are the different range of movements, what are the different flexion areas where this person can do. So if your knowledge of bones, muscles, tendons and ligaments and what particular joints, what are the range of movements, if you are aware of basics of this, you will go slow in the person whom you are teaching. As your client, you can say it as a client or you can say it as a patient or as a participant. You will say, you will go slow with a client and you will be empathic that you know and that person do not know. It will become a superiority, inferiority. But in this, if you have the knowledge, the person is a challenge in front of you, and this challenge, how you take it up, how you teach this asanas in a particular way that you will not harm the person is very vital. So by doing understanding the studying of musculoskeletal system basics, what you are going to achieve is you are not going to harm the person, and you are going slow in that particular person, slow range of movement, slow exercises, slow resistance exercises, slow energy building, slow strength building exercises. When you go in this ladder step by step, like yama niyama you study, then you will be able to reach the goal of flexibility, endurance, dexterity of the muscles, or doing the Stiram Sukham Asanam with ease, without harm. So there is one research says that there are around 31% of musculoskeletal injuries because of wrongdoing of yoga. So this you can prevent it. So each one of you are the brand ambassador of Indian heritage. So that will have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders to give our best to the people. There is a lot of responsibility on your shoulders to take up this heritage of yoga and give it your best to the people. So in this responsibility, you must accustom yourself, you must practice to study and inculcate the knowledge where you'll not be embarrassed to say no, you will not be embarrassed to to not to know certain areas of your body, and you're still doing asanas. So you'll have a combination of asana knowledge and anatomy physiology knowledge, in particular skeletal system, muscular system, at least to the extent of, and the beginners I'll say, naming of the muscles, naming of the bone, more than enough for you. And then study different exercise modules, different exercises like a physiotherapy knowledge what you have. This will make you work in sync with other specialties. Like if you are working with a doctor, if you are working teaching some scientist, if you are working for some physiotherapist or some physiotherapy center, fitness center, you should know that what exercises modules you are teaching. So in that context, the basics of naming, basics of different exercises module you need to know, along with the knowledge of asana pranayama, whatever you studied. When you are doing head extension or neck flexion, if you are able to name the different muscles like sternocleidomastoid, scalene muscles, platysma muscles, deep and superficial and deep muscles of your neck, if you at least name it, remember it and know what it is, you will be able to do much justice for your asana teaching. When you say deltoid, trapezius, pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, external oblique, internal oblique, rectus abdominis muscles, transverse abdominis muscles, erector spinae muscles of your back, rhomboids, teres major, teres minor, serratus anterior, serratus posterior. Like this, there are so many number of muscles around the body, where if you are able to name it for as a beginner, that's more than enough. And you look more authentic when you name it.